Well, I'm Carley Summers, and this is my sweet and precious home that I never thought that I would deserve or have or live in, something so precious and sacred. So to take you back a little bit, in September will be 12 years of sobriety from drug and alcohol addiction and extremely low self-worth, finding freedom from all those things now. I grew up as a whimsy and childlike, and you can see that now in my designs, little girl. I got 2 DUIs, went to rehab when I was 20, then I went again after my second DUI at 22. You know, at this point, I knew about Jesus. I loved Jesus as a little girl, but had strayed so far away from him. I remember being in that detox center and could not believe that I was in rehab for a second time. I started to hear this really small whisper saying, ask for one more chance. You're my child. I have a plan for you. Don't give up. And I had a Jesus calling and a Bible and a couple pairs of clothes, and I pulled the sheets over my head and I said, okay, Lord, if this is gonna be real, I need you to help me. Like, I need help to become who you've called me to be. And there was a switch in my spirit. At the end of treatment, my dad wanted me to go to Port-au-Prince, Haiti, and he said, hey, I think you need to go and serve other people. You need to go to a place of humility. So moved to Haiti, lived there half of a year. That's where God did such a great work in my life. It's where I picked up photography, my love of cultural design. Got to work with women who have gone through very similar things to me, where I was able to use my testimony and what I'd walked through to help bring redemption and restoration to them. After I moved from Haiti, did more photography schooling, met my precious husband who I never thought I would deserve. It has been an incredible journey moving back to Greenville, which is kind of my Egypt, and to now live in a home where Nancy, who used to live here and passed away 2 years ago, prayed for my redemption for 7 years, and to live in that legacy. So it's been a sweet redemption story, and to now go from a place of almost homeless to now living in a home that people covet and love and want me to design like. It's just this huge juxtaposition, but the one thing that's so important for me is that I give all glory to Jesus through it. Yeah. So this home has a heavy footprint to it. Not only is it beautiful, but it is truly sacred and has been covered in prayer since the 50s. I grew up a street over, and I grew up knowing who Nancy and Sid were. I would come and knock on their door and sell art to them for 50 cents. I mean, they have just been a part of my history ever since I can even remember. During the time of my trials and tribulations, my family came over here to seek refuge and prayer from Nancy, because she was known as an intercessor prayer warrior in our town and would help pray with families in this very room. And she would get on her knees with my parents and had a picture of me in her Bible and would pray for me and pray that God would bring his angel armies in to rescue me, to allow me to hit rock bottom so that I could find who the rock was. And I can't believe that I'm sitting in here and call this home mine. Being able to create something so sweet off of Nancy's legacy is so important, but also making sure that I continue it with my prayer life. I think if we're talking about favorite rooms, I obviously love this one. This is one of them, and I love this room and how sacred it is. But let's be real, I love my kitchen. I poured a lot of heart into my kitchen. This is a forever kitchen for me. You have to get it right the first time. It's hard and it's soft. The marble has this hard veining, and it's organic, and it has multiple different colorways in it, and the marble is pretty much the showpiece of the kitchen. I am the most visually inspired when I'm in my kitchen. It is just, it's a breath of fresh air to me. The formal living room is a little bit of a constant battle for me because it is a long living room, but it's narrow. I have 2 loves. I love lots of furniture, but I also love to have Bible study in there, and so trying to find enough space for everyone to sit in. So it's really a challenge of making it beautiful and aesthetic and formal while also making it comfortable for people to pile in there on Wednesday nights. I think having my home as a safe space is extremely important, especially coming from my history. And creating a space like that for myself and for my husband and my family is so important because I want when people come into our home to encounter the Spirit of God. So that's what's safe. So that's kind of what I hope for my home and for it to feel safe. This room and Max's room give me a crazy amount of peace. There's something about his room, and I've put really whimsical paintings in there of like a shepherd and his sheep, and allowing his room to be fully little boy, but also like fully designed. You know, I didn't go so childlike in there, but I also, you know, there's books everywhere, and his room, there's just something so magical about his room when you walk in, and I think he feels it too. It's so special now that I get to use my creative passion that he placed inside of me, those desires, and allow his glory and his light to be shown through my creative eye. And that's ultimately what we want from this. What's really interesting about my family's history is that my grandfather, who passed in the 90s, who was like my best friend, who was an artist, he was a mid-century modern furniture designer. I and my family have collected his sketches and had his original designs of furniture since the 50s, 60s, and 70s. About 4 years ago, I pulled those sketches out and I knew that something had to be done with them. And we recreated a lot of his original furniture designs from paper to furniture. So the sectional I'm sitting on now is the Max sectional. The other Max sectional that we have in our home, it has an upholstered leg. So it's just really neat to have been able to honor his legacy and someone who was one of the biggest sparks of my creativity as a child, and to honor him, and our son's named after him too, which is really special. So Max gets to live on, really, in furniture and in our son. When you ask about legacy, it's something really important because I didn't ever think I'd have one. And then I thought my legacy 12 years ago would be the representation of who I was then, of arrests, rehabs. You know, at one point that was going to be my legacy. And then when I clung hold to what Jesus had for me, he changed the trajectory of my life. And if you strip all of the design away and you strip any accolade away that I've created, which feels good, don't get me wrong, I'm a human, I would want my legacy to be that I loved God's people and that I invite all stories to the table so that they can be loved on by Jesus. And I want to be that middle person in Christianity where people just need to know how much he loves them. And then the rest falls from that. You know, the rest just can come from that. So that's what I would truly hope to be my legacy.